Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Office Hours, joined as always by my esteemed colleague and professor, Mr. Bama Bearcat, Michael Wolf. How are we today, sir?
Tron, it's great to be here as always. Thanks for stopping by the office.
Always good to get amongst books, Wolfie, amongst all these books that you have. You look very professorial today as well in your H&B vest. What do we got on today?
Well, so we got our first, kind of 2-layer day in Alabama. It was 90 degrees last week, middle of October, but things have finally gotten a little bit better. So I'm wearing my Turkin shirt. I'd assume named after Bunky, but I can't confirm that. Just your basic striped blue and white, little techno fiber. Yeah. And
nice.
And my sleeveless, it's a good weight. Like everything at H&B, just, well built, well designed. Stuff's going to last. You're not going to take it out of the dryer the second time you wear it and think like, what happened to that? It's going to look just as good on the 10th wearing as the first wearing. And like everything at H&B, just appreciate their support of the pod. These guys love golf. It shows in their products. So thanks to H&B.
Hey man, I've got the Stableford sweater on today. Finally sweater weather here this morning at least. And shout out to Wallasey Golf Club, where the home of Stableford. They're in northwest England, which we may get to in our episode today. Listen, I came to Wolfie. I said, "Hey, we need to talk some world golf. You've been to a lot of these places. If you haven't been there, you've read books on them all, and need to bone up on world golf after our big U.S. kind of auction draft last episode." So
let's start with the obvious. Tron, how many countries have you played golf in? Do you know?
That's a great question. Obviously, the United States, Canada. You know what, Wolfie? I've never been to Mexico before, so I've played golf, and then I've played golf in Australia, New Zealand, the UK, Ireland, Spain, Sweden, Norway, Denmark. I think that's it. And Korea, South Korea,
Netherlands.
Never played in the Netherlands. Been many times, but never played.
Well, I got good news for you. There's plenty of places for you left to see. According to the
RNA, I've played in Germany as well.
Okay. So. According to the RNA, there are about 38,000 golf courses in the world in 206 different countries. There's 251 countries, give or take. Haven't turned on CNN this morning, but 251 countries in the world. 206 of them have at least one golf course. So plenty of options out there. I think I've been to about 25% of them. I think I've played golf in like 52, 51 different countries. Plenty left on my list still. I'll give you a couple fun facts off the top. Countries that you're not going to be able to play golf in. Monaco, Turkmenistan, Micronesia, Timor, Vatican City, Eritrea, Palua. So pretty much everybody's got a golf course unless the country is just so small, landlocked that they can't afford to give up the land, or if they've just got a whole lot of other issues going on that golf's not quite at the forefront, or tourism, I guess, isn't quite at the forefront of their mind. But Armenia's got one, Malta's got one. Israel's the big surpriser to me, and this has been like this for a long time. They've got one golf course. They've only had one golf course for like the last 25 years, which is always kind of
not a lot of water.
Yeah,
right?
I guess, but you'd think
not a lot of land, not a lot of water,
a lot of sand. You'd think someone would like play golf. A lot of expats over there. But anyway,
how many have you played in?
I think 51 or 52. Yeah.
Anything surprising? Any that you haven't played in that people would think you have?
I'd have to say no. Pretty much I've checked off, I think, most of the easy ones. Maybe like a Norway. Have not been to Norway yet. That's probably Morocco's top of my list. Very jealous when you guys were in sight of it. You guys were right there for the Solheim Cup a couple years ago, or Big Randy was, and he didn't take the ferry across, but which I guess is a little more complicated than it sounds. But I guess like Morocco. I've got a book on Moroccan golf, and King Hassan used to build these personal golf courses that Michael Clayton talks about. They would play like a European tour event in them, and then they would come back the next year, and not a single person had like played since last year. Like the pin locations were still in the same places they were for the final round of the previous year's event. And they were literally inside the walls of these old castles. And a lot of them are kind of like right on, because they were like, built next to old fortifications and stuff. And so a lot of them are actually built like right next to sandy beaches and stuff. And we'll put a couple of pictures up for you guys to look at. But I'd love to go to Morocco and play sometime. That's probably the next on my list, Morocco.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wolfie, I got 3 more countries I totally forgot about. The United Arab Emirates, I've played in Abu Dhabi,
Okay.
I've played in Aruba, I've played in the Cayman Islands as well.
Aruba. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like one of the things I do like about it is when you were asking, anything notable. I do like when you go to different countries, like not just the culture of play or whatever, but also like the little quirks. I think I've mentioned this before. When you go to Australia, they give you the plastic teas because they don't want to be wasteful. Or you go to Japan and like they charge you $1 for the pencils, so you don't lose your pencil, right? And I kind of like that, how different countries are, different ways. You like Australia, no caddies whatsoever. You'd think there would be caddies all over Australia, but it just wasn't their part of their culture from the beginning. I like that part
Yeah.
of it. I like that, from the first hole to the 18th green, it's pretty much the same, but just the little quirks along the way are what, golf's got that. A lot of places don't have that. Tennis doesn't have that. Pickleball doesn't have that.
Yeah.
It's one of the things I really like about golf is it's a little bit different, everywhere.
Do you, I guess we can get into this, but if we don't, anywhere, I guess a two-parted question. Do you have anywhere that you've been that just totally knocked your socks off that you didn't have expectations for from a golf perspective? Or on the flip side, do you have anywhere that you were very, very disappointed in and had high hopes for?
On the positive, I mean, it's hard to not love Argentina. The people are great. It was much safer, much cleaner, easier to get around than I thought. The golf was really good. I mean, like a lot of tourists, I wanted to play the best places, and they've got some really good ones. And I had some good folks looking after me while I was there, so that probably contributed to it. I was also there while during the ongoing crash of their currency, so everything was, felt like it was about $20 to play golf everywhere and $10 to have a big stake. But they had some golf courses that were really, really solid. Like you could tell, like whoever had built this thing, like knew what they were
Mhm.
doing. It was kind of that sweet spot where somebody knew enough when they were building the places, but in the meantime, there hasn't been enough money or enough interest to screw them all up. And that's really kind of
Yeah.
to me the sweet spot of like, you know, um, great golf courses, especially like classic golf courses. And so I'd say yes. Uh, on the other side, I'd say kind of anything in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
It's all resort golf. It's slow. It's fine. You have a margarita. You put your feet up on the golf cart.
I've also played in the Bahamas. I totally forgot about that
There
because
you
it
go.
didn't even feel like
Yeah,
golf.
they start to
So,
add up. I mean, we're both of a certain age, so you start to forget. Oh yeah, I did play there. I did play here. So
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. All right. Well, how are we going to do? So we're picking similar to what we did for state by state, which
yeah,
I'm still haunted by. Even Ben, my colleague who lives in Kansas, said, "Why would you ever pick Kansas?" Which, you know, maybe I just like prairie dunes that much, right?
yeah.
But I'm still haunted by that. But how are we doing it today with countries? Are we doing public and resort? Or are we just sticking to top courses?
Yeah. So we're just gonna keep this simple because when you get to, outside the US, the UK, a lot of these places, trying to define what's a public, what's a private, what their
Yeah.
visiting policies are, particularly for, like locals versus like in Australia. I see a lot of stuff on social media about like, oh, they're so welcoming around the Melbourne Sandbelt, and then you always get a few grumblers like, not if you live in the Sandbelt. Like the policies depend on how close you live to the course for part of the country. So we're going to keep it pretty simple, and we're just going to say you pick any country you want, and if you take that country, you get any 3 courses that you want in that country. Okay, so you get that one. You pick a country. You pick, New Zealand. You got to declare which 3 you want, but we'll just keep
Okay.
it simple like that. To give you an idea of what the task is ahead of us, so as I mentioned, 38,000 golf courses in the world. 16,000 of them are in the United States of America. So almost half, I guess 45% of all golf courses in the world are in the United States. The top 20, to get to 20th on the list, there's 20 or more countries that have 300 golf courses. So for the purpose of this exercise, I think we're talking about, there's a core group of about 20, and then there's below that there's also some courses, some countries, mostly smaller ones that'll have maybe one or two really notable courses that we've heard about. But
Yeah.
yeah, there's 20 that I would kind of consider heavily golfing nations. Here's a quick fun fact again up front, just to prep you, Tron, the task at hand. 413 different countries. I mean, 413, excuse me, 413 different golf courses have been ranked at one time or another in one of the major magazines' top 100 in the world. So 413. So not a lot of
And
agreement
major
there.
mags would be Golf Week, Golf Digest, Golf
Yeah,
Magazine.
those type
Okay.
things, yes. Of
Okay.
those 413, they come from 40 different countries. Okay, so I'm not saying they're all deserving. I'm not saying that there may have not been some payroll from some tourism boards once upon a time. Dare that I would suggest that. But
I wouldn't even say once upon a time.
yeah,
I mean, you have to add that
well,
qualifier.
once upon a time, meaning like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But 40 different countries have had at least one of their courses ranked in the top 100 in the world at one point or another. So
Okay.
pretty diverse menu to select from. All
And
right.
Wolfie, for the purposes of this, we're setting aside the United States.
I think we set aside the United States. It's kind
Okay.
of obvious. I mean, we could try to say like east of the west of Mississippi, west of Mississippi. Both regions would have more than any other country times five.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a
Yeah.
it's a pretty big mismatch there. So let's just
What
take that one out of the equation.
and we're treating Scotland, England, are we treating
Yes.
that as one country?
No, we're going to divide those up. So Wales,
Okay.
Scotland, England, Ireland, Northern Ireland. Yeah, we're going to chop those up. We're going to chop those up.
Okay. All right,
And I
cool.
think that's the
That's
only
good to
one.
know.
Everything else we're going to all the other ones we'll treat as their own. So
Okay. Uh how are we doing order?
well, I think I had such a convincing W last time. We're gonna let you go first, Ron.
Did you?
I'm
Was
in a
it that?
generous mood. I'm in a generous mood. Gustavia won this week. We're up to 2-4, still in the running for the playoffs. So we're gonna let you go first.
All right. Well, you know what? You've given me I didn't know what the parameters were heading into this. You kept them from me
Sure.
with this
Make
top 3 courses.
sure.
So,
Make your excuses
you
up
know,
front. Hedge your bets.
I will. That's what I'm doing right now.
Okay.
So I'm wildly unprepared for this. Uh, so as far as the first pick goes, I'm gonna go with Australia. I uh, I love it down there. It's fantastic. The sand belt is wonderful. There's all sorts of new good stuff going in. But if we're limiting it to the top 3 courses, I would say the composite course at Royal Melbourne, the I would say Kingston Heath, and then I'm gonna put Royal Adelaide in there. I love that
Ooh.
place.
Okay.
I really, really, really enjoy it. It's like that would be like my everyday course. So,
Okay. Yeah. Easy walk.
you know,
Sure.
those are yeah, 3 of my favorite courses in the world. I feel like the weather's good, the turf conditions are great, the people are wonderful, golf culture is awesome.
Yeah.
Uh, it's not gonna beat you up either.
Okay. I think if you're buying stock, I'd invest in Oz too, as far as still building good golf
Exactly,
courses down there, still, you know, producing great stuff. A lot of
exactly.
good
Yeah, we got
architects originating
7
from
Mile
down there.
Beach,
Yeah,
couple courses going in there, you got
yeah.
something going on
Seems like at
Kangaroo
least when you get away,
Island,
yeah, they got a
National, yeah, all sorts of stuff.
couple nut
Yeah.
job mayors trying to build condos in the middle of golf courses, but other than that, you get away from that in the major cities, and it seems like still
And yeah,
producing.
Western Australia seems like a sleeping giant too over by Perth. A lot of good land, but they could, not a whole lot of great golf over there right now, but I think could be in the future. So,
Australia, by the way, 1,584 golf courses. Again, this is according
okay.
to the 2021 RNA study. So they've got what?
Yeah, like 3%?
Yeah, 3%. That makes them number five. The only ones with more than them, USA, which is the 800-pound gorilla, and then Japan, the consolidated UK, and then Canada. So Oz is fifth on the
Okay.
list. And if you go by number of people, I think it would probably be even higher up on that list. So yeah, good pick. Curiously, that was going to be my first or second pick, but I was going to go Royal Melb, Ballybunion in New South Wales. So I think that speaks pretty well to their.
Ballybunion.
I mean, Barnbougle. Excuse me, Barnbougle and New South Wales. So yeah, I think that speaks pretty well to the diversity too of their like top offerings. It's like not all the same style. I love New South Wales. I think that you come over that fairway and look
I
down.
think it's really cool. I think I'm curious to see what they do moving forward with
Yeah,
renovations and stuff and
yeah,
such. I think it's probably underrealized as it is right now.
yeah.
So,
Okay,
uh, all right. Well, that's reassuring to know
yeah.
that you would have gone with that first
We're close to the top.
or second.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Scotland then. Got to go
Oh,
Scotland.
I
I've
thought for
spent.
sure you were going to go England.
Uh, that was on the. It was very near the top of the list. Hard to go wrong with either. I like the diversity of England better than Scotland as far as you get the Heathland courses.
But
So
we're
that
only getting 3,
I know.
right?
So right. So
Is
that was
3
kind of hard to
enough?
guess.
Should we
So
go 5?
well, I think when we get farther down on the list, it's going to be hard to come up with five.
That's true.
Five
That's
for
true.
somebody. So
Okay.
um, Scotland for me, it's the old course. I mean, it's just hard to pass that up. It's
Yeah.
it's watching it all weekend, and talk about a place that seems like it always delivers, and the town and the whole thing. So I would go Scotland, and I would say I think I would go Carnoustie. Carnoustie is one of those places that just grows and grows and grows on me. You know, it's getting into the top three obviously because I'm picking it in this. So I'm going to go Old Course. I'm going to go Carnoustie, and I'm going to go Royal Dornoch. So those are my three for
Wow.
Scotland. I think they kind of
No,
speak for
no,
themselves. So yeah,
no honorable company,
no,
huh?
I think yeah, I think I'm going to go those three.
Wow. Okay. All right. Uh, gosh, a lot of different directions we could go here, Wolfie.
A lot of different directions you
I
can go.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with England.
Okay,
I think like you said earlier, I think the diversity with the Heathland, you got the Northwest, you got a bunch of stuff I haven't played up in the the kind of the central north central part. You got some of the stuff down southeast, southwest. So I'm gonna go England, and I haven't played all that much in England, but so it's tough for me to say Sunningdale versus Swinley versus St. George's Hill versus Berkshire. But I'll say Royal Lytham because I love Royal Lytham. It's a
it's
close
one of your
personal
top
favorite
eight
of
favorite
mine.
rated courses.
Exactly. I love Woking as well. Woking's a personal favorite.
I
And
think
then
I think
yeah.
Woking's maybe the most improved in England in the last whatever since I first played it versus now. I mean the tree removal. I mean just when you get to that first green and you look off to the right and you can see all those holes in the fairways, and if you're lucky that the heather that's in bloom. Yeah, Woking's
Yeah.
really I think Woking's getting close to like you can't miss it on your first trip to the Heathlands.
It's just like it's a architecture museum too.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of there's just so
Yeah.
much cool weird stuff that
Well,
nobody else would have the balls to try.
fourth hole at Woking. That's where it
Yeah.
kind of all started.
And then yeah, I mean it's a coin flip between a bunch of courses I haven't played before. I don't think I need to throw Birkdale or Hoylake or anything in there. I think it's more or like West Lancs even more of we'll say Swinley just to get
Okay.
that in there. So
All right. Have you been to Rye? Have you been to Rye yet?
I have not.
No
No,
DJ has.
no.
Rye's, it's interesting. It's fun. It's
Yeah.
different. Okay. Um, Man, we're kind of circling the islands then, because I'm gonna go with Ireland. Ireland, because I like Ballybunion, but I really, really like Lahinch. Lahinch, one of
Yeah.
my favorite
I
courses.
think Lahinch is the best that I've played in Ireland.
Yeah,
It's
there's something for me like intrinsically fun about hitting a ball over a hill, like just watching it go over the top of the hill. And at least at Lahinch, like the elevation change in the distance like matches my my typical drive, or what I would like for my typical drive to be, and so I can do that there. And there's something, just like I say, there's just something almost about going watching it disappear over the top, and like knowing and kind of their a lot of those too are like they kind of got the little saddle on the fairways. It kind of inspires a little bit of confidence
yeah,
when you're standing on the tee. Like
yeah,
this isn't going to be the last time I ever see this ball. So
even once you get beyond that 4, 5, 6, or 3, 4, 5 stretch, that stuff around 9, 10, 11 is so good there at
Yeah,
Lynch. I mean, there's just the way it interacts with the coast out there, and then you kinda hang on for dear life those last 4 holes as well.
yeah.
It's a cool finish. So,
What's your
I'm
opinion
with
on
you.
the Dell hole?
I love it. I think the
Yeah,
Dell's awesome. I think the Klondike's awesome.
yeah.
I mean, I like weird shit, right? It's
Okay.
that's my thing.
Um,
So,
this part of Ireland, so this is one of those. It's like there's a 10-way tie for my third course there. Ballybunion and Hinch are the easy ones, like every other tourist in the world. But for my third one, I think I'm going to go Louth, County Louth.
okay.
All right, the
Never been.
choice is yours.
Let's see
And
here.
by the way, while you're considering
Yeah.
that, I'll just tell for the listeners. So UK in total, between the three that we just picked, Scotland, England, Ireland, and Wales, about 3,000 golf courses in total,
Okay.
between those places, which would, by the way, would still leave it less than Japan.
Really?
Yep. Not trying to influence you. Japan's got more than everything in
But
the UK,
we're
Great
going
Britain.
on top. We're going on top,
I know. Yeah.
best of the
Yeah.
bunch,
Yeah.
not
Just a little
not
fun
depth
fact while
here.
you're
So,
pondering.
never been to Wales. I've never been to Northern Ireland, so it's a blind spot for me, but I feel like you've got uh
Some pretty good ones there.
yeah, give me Northern Ireland just because Royal County Down looks awesome. Portrush looks awesome. And then Ardglass
Yeah, Art Glass would be a fun one. It's right up on top of the hill above Roll County Down. You go to Port Stewart. Is 10 miles down the road or whatever from Port Rush. That's a great one. Opening 9 holes there are great. But you know what? The back nines there's pretty darn good too. They got a great porch
we'll,
around the back too.
we'll say Port Stewart. We'll say
Yeah,
Port
Port
Stewart.
Stewart. So that's a good one. Yeah. All
God,
right.
I'm deep in the Commonwealth right now.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so that's I guess you could say that's probably at this stage about as far as 99% of golf travelers have been able to go. This is about as far as you're probably going to be able to talk your buddies into making a golf trip if there's not some destination, a wedding or something you got to go to. But there's still plenty of good ones out there, folks. And I got to say, let me put in a commercial that hopefully won't cost laying up hundreds of thousands of dollars of future revenue from tourism agencies. With the increasing prices in the UK and in the United States, for that matter, at resorts, if you're willing to just stray and show your buddies this video, um, a
I
lot
know
of
where
the
you're
places,
going with this.
a
I
lot of
know
the
where you're
places
going
that
with this.
we're about to show from number like 6, which we're on 6. A lot of the ones from like
Yeah.
6 through 15, great golf courses would make great buddies trips and unbelievable value now, especially compared to the rising prices and the difficulty of trying to schedule 5 good courses 5 days in a row. If you don't have inside connections like Tron does, if you're just a poor working man like myself. So a lot of these, consider these, and I'm not saying Scotland's not great and they're not great folks over there, but if you're trying to put something together, particularly like last minute, you don't have a year in advance to plan it. Lots of good options. So for that reason, I think with my third pick, 6th overall, I'm going to go with the Netherlands.
I knew you were gonna do it, Wolfie. I
Yep,
knew it.
yep. So they've got really 6 great old courses, 5 great old courses. They all welcome visitors. They're pretty diverse. I've probably said this on 5 different videos, but I'll say it again because to me it's great, especially as I get older and I got kids at home and I got obligations at home. Delta KLM, they got the late flights from Schiphol Airport, and so Kennemer, which is a great Harry Colt course. You can play it in the morning and still be on a 3 p.m. flight, back to the United States. Still make your connections through Detroit or Atlanta or wherever, and get to wherever you need to be in the United States. To me, that's a nice advantage of
Yep.
a lot of the courses in mainland versus Scotland. Um, Another nice thing about mainland courses in Europe, obviously, is that you drive on the same side of the road and you follow the same rules as you do in the United States. So at least for me, that's also something that's a little bit less stressful. So, and Netherlands has got fantastic golf courses. So I'm going to go
Yeah.
Utrecht de Pan. I'm going to say Kennemer, and I'm going to say Yeah, it gets tough. I'm gonna say Rollheg. I'm gonna say Rollheg.
Okay.
Yeah, those are my three. But there's really five or six, and I've heard some really good new stuff being built there too. Looks kind of modern to me, but haven't played much of it. But I've heard
Yeah, they're having the
pretty good
Solheim there.
reviews. Some new stuff, yeah. So
Yeah.
Netherlands.
Wolfie, the Canadians are they're yelling at us through their
Mm-hmm.
screens right now. They're
Mm-hmm.
yelling at us. And you know what? They can keep yelling at us
Ooh,
because
okay.
I'm gonna go to New Zealand
Okay.
next. Just because I want to go hang out at Terra. That's one of my three. It's a no brainer for me.
Okay.
Uh, I've only played there in TRI. I would say for my second one there, yeah, I mean, I would say all three courses there at Terra, but I would also say maybe, I mean, Paraparaamu, I haven't played Titirangi, I haven't played anything on the South Island, I haven't played Cape Kidnappers, Kari Cliffs, any of that. But
Yeah.
New Zealand, primarily on the back of Terra. Give me that,
Okay.
and betting on the future as well.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good bet. I'm
Plus,
shocked.
I can hang out down in Australia and then bounce over to New Zealand,
Yeah,
to one of my other selections.
Tom Doak told me once when he was. I asked him once um, the Confidential Guide, which I think Confidential Guide was really kind of a big, keystone or milestone in golf, in golf writing, in golf architecture. Just and I think I know our friend Mr. Hartzell does not like it, but because of a couple of ratings that Tom put in there. But to me, one of the underrated things about that was like how hard it must have been in the days before Google Maps and the
Yeah.
internet, and just like to find out all that information. And I asked Tom about that once because he was nice enough to let me see his like binder with all of his original like notes that were like water stained and stuff from being in his back pocket while he was doing all that when he was 25 years old. And he said his starting point, like if he couldn't find somebody that knew something about the country or like where he was going to go next, was he would kind of look at a map of everywhere the British Empire had gotten to, and generally speaking, if there was like an outpost nearby, a British outpost nearby, you know, chances were
There's
there was going to
probably
be a
gonna be a
golf
golf
course
course.
because there were a bunch of
Yeah.
25-year-old guys there in the army in some outpost, and there wasn't much booze, there was no girls, and so they would build a golf course, and most of them were rudimentary, but every once in a while you had a guy who knew what he was doing, and they built a good golf course. And New Zealand, I think, definitely benefited from that.
Wolfie, it's never far from me. This
Yeah,
is the
yeah, well,
America's
yeah.
winter destinations.
I
Yeah.
give another. I'll give another one real quick. Is so this is a great book on the golf courses of New Zealand's North Island, and you can see how thin this thing is. I mean, this was just one of those like photos. So Clyde Johnson did this. So while
Okay.
Clyde was there working on shaping Terra 80 and Tearai and all those, he made it a point to go see every golf course on the North Island of New Zealand, and then put this together with it's kind of I think it's like just it was like produced on Etsy or whatever. I mean, you could make a copy of this book for like $5. I mean, and he just
Oh,
gives it out to friends. Um, and just his thoughts on the golf course and maybe a couple of sketches on each one. Clyde, for those that don't know, he's now I think he's also looking. I know he's looking after some of the projects at Titirangi, which is a great Mackenzie course. But I get young people all the time. They're like, "How do you write a golf book? I want to get into writing, or how do I start a golf podcast, or whatever, whatever." Like, don't start with like, here's my thoughts on Augusta National, or here's my thoughts on Roll Number. Like, that's been covered by some people that already really know what they're talking about. Become the expert at wherever you are. If you
yeah.
live in Mississippi,
Niche
yeah,
subject matter.
yeah,
Yeah.
be the go-to guy on Mississippi golf. Or if you live in Tempe, Arizona, be the first person that people think of when they are going to Tempe, Arizona, and they want to play golf. And it doesn't
Yeah.
have to be expensive. Like I say, I mean, Clyde could have. I don't know how many words this book is. It's probably 10, 15,000. You could do this in a week or two, after you've, driven around. And this is helpful. I mean, this is really useful. I don't really need another book on, what somebody thinks about Augusta National, but I really needed a book on what the 17th best golf course in New Zealand was. And this thing was a well done, executed, cheap to produce. So anybody out there thinking that they want to get into golf media, this is an easy way to, get your bona fides established.
There's something lasting about a book too versus a
Yeah.
website or
Yeah.
a message board of, hey, like this is, there's a finality to it, right?
Yeah,
You've got to
on both
put your name
sides.
out. Yeah, you got to put
Yeah,
your stake in the ground a little bit and
yeah,
say, hey, this is what I think. Final answer, kind of thing,
yeah.
right?
It's a little bit frightening, but it also like makes you. It adds some clarity to your thoughts, hopefully, and I think
Yeah.
usually that there's an understanding there with the reader that they respect that. So yeah. All right. On from New Zealand. I'm gonna get back for some sophistication and some quality eats and just a little kick my feet off and enjoy the finer things. And I'm gonna go with France.
You're going to Montfontaine.
I'm going to Morfontaine, which was one of the more surreal afternoons of my life going there. So I'm gonna go to Morfontaine. I'm gonna go Hardelot, and
Okay.
I'm gonna say just to mix it up a little bit, Les Bordes, the new course at Les Bordes, which is the Gil Hans course. I'm gonna go with
Okay.
that as well. But yeah, Morfontaine would um, almost be worth it on its own. There's four or five other ones within kind of that same Paris area where you could easily stay in downtown Paris or stay up by the airport. And assuming you could get access, you could take a cab out playing and take a cab back and still be meet your wife after she's done at the museum or shopping or
Mhm.
whatever, and be ready to go for dinner. But Morfontaine is one of those. I'm always a little bit worried when you get to go to the ones that are like really really exclusive, and you wonder like, is this really like a 6 that everybody's saying is a 9 just because it's like so hard to get on and like everybody's so excited to buy their Morfontaine head cover and stuff. Morfontaine, it really was that different in that it was that cool in the whole setting. I mean, you walk in, the town of Morfontaine was so small, and just all these old build houses with stone walls that are 2 feet thick that have been there for 1,000 years, and all the flowers around the clubhouse and just the artwork and the wine and I had some kind of I drink Miller Lite, man. I'm from the west side of Cincinnati, but we had some bottle of wine that was like Chateau Lafleur something or other. And I got home and I
Uh,
told my wine friends, and they were like, "That's a first growth, like that's like a whatever." And I was like, "I don't know." They introduced me to the guy whose vineyard it was, his family, whatever, and they were like, "That's the Rothschilds," and I was like, "I don't know, like whatever."
oh,
Uh,
Chateau Lafitte Rothschild.
yeah, it
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
pretty good. And I don't like one, but in the par three course was great. And that's a true like when you're there, you're just like part of the. There's like there's ladies walking their dogs right through the middle of the course on Saturday morning, and kids riding their bike. Like it's all just wonderful.
Delightful.
Heart of
Love
low,
that.
sneaky good, and then like I said, I said Les Bordes is the new Gilhans. That's about two
The
hours
boar.
south of France. So
People are gonna crush you for calling it Le Bordes.
what is it? How do you say it?
I think it's just Le Boar, right?
Le Bordes? I don't know. I don't know.
Like the
Okay.
es is silent, but I'm
Mm,
terrible at pronunciation.
okay. So yeah, France with
Uh,
my fourth round pick.
no love for Chantilly, huh?
Chantilly.
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought that was yeah. There's plenty of good ones there. Can only go with
yeah.
three. A little diversity.
I am gonna pluck one off the board right in front of you. I'm gonna go with Japan. I thought this is where you were
Mm,
going.
mm.
Finer things. I have no idea what court. I would say Hirono for sure, based on everything I've heard. Uh, what else do you do? Do you do Yokohama? Do you do? Uh, I know you like that kind of resort, the Kawana.
Yeah. So Kawana is their. I would say Hirono is like the Pine Valley of um, Japanese golf. It's almost like a. You have to be a pretty good player and also probably within the upper reaches of Japanese golf as far as either have volunteered your time or rules official or just been a member in another nice club for a while. It's pretty hard. It's pure golf, that's for sure. Um, yeah, great golf course. Kawana would be their Pebble Beach, so you got to
Okay, I
spend a night in a very overpriced hotel
was gonna say
um,
weird hotel,
with a
right?
swimming pool that's got a tinge of green water in it. It's a 9 that could easily be a 10. It's one of the better routings and like properties for golf I've ever seen. You were holding up the confidential guide before volume 5. That's the view from the 16th or the 15th hole back back towards the fairway, and where you can see Mount Fuji
Okay.
on the cover. And just yeah, it's a cool, you know, cool golf course resort. That's great. I enjoyed the trip down. It's like a 2-hour train ride, and the trains as you go. The farther you get outside of like the 3 or 4 major cities and the trunk line, the major lines, which is what the
Yeah.
high speed trains are like. Then you start to get into like the tier 2 and the tier 3 trains that get like older and older. And the last train that you take for like the last 5 miles out to Kiwana is like a train that you would have like at an amusement park. I mean, it clangs as it goes along. And it's like right on 100-foot down cliff that you're looking down. It's like it feels like Monterey, the Monterey Peninsula. I mean, it's that like
Okay.
wispy fog rolls in and out, and great place. Third one for you,
Well, yeah. What would be the third?
probably. I mean, by the way, these are all Kiwana's a public course, so it just takes money. But these are all extremely hard to get on. I would put these up there with any golf trip in the world. As far as it'd be like trying to plan a golf trip to Long Island.
Yeah.
Third one, probably Tokyo Golf.
Okay.
Gil Hans has done a lot of work there recently, so that's the old school. It borders Kasuma Gaseki, which is where the Olympics were held. Kasuma Gaseki is 36 holes, lots of members. Tokyo Golf's, they share a fence line. In fact, you could at least I could in theory hit a slice enough to hit one on the wrong green, on the wrong course. On the 10th hole at Tokyo Golf, you could hit one onto Kasuma Gaseki. But Tokyo Golf is the last really good course left that's got the double green. So
Okay.
Hans has reworked them. So they've got 2 sets of tees on the par 3s, on the par 4s, just 1 set. And then you play to two different green sites. At most golf courses, it's just kind of there's the real green and then the second green. One's bent and one's Bermuda, or sometimes not even anymore. But the second one is almost like an afterthought. Like the bunkering is clearly intended in the strategy of the hole for the main course. Tokyo Golf's the only one that's got like that I've seen is it's got like 2 green sites that are both like great green sites. Like I think if you
Okay.
polled the members, it'd probably be split right down the middle on which golf course they liked better. So,
Okay.
Tokyo Golf.
What's the if you were gonna go weird or offbeat, what would you choose to replace one of those?
Um, Kobe Golf Club. So
Okay.
Kobe Golf Club is the first golf club ever built in Japan. It was built by, I believe, Winston Groom. I hope I got that name right. He was a importer exporter at that time. Non-Japanese had to live essentially down in the harbors. They had like foreigner zones, and they weren't allowed to leave outside that. He, like most Englishmen, got bored and missed golf, so he started like playing out on a sandbar, and then he got permission after a couple of years to build up on top of this mountain. And the mountain is incredible. I mean, you are
Okay.
so high up over the harbor that they look like little like boats floating in the bathtub. You are so high up. It's still the original golf course. They got a great clubhouse, but because it's so short now, it's like I don't know 5,100 yards. That you still play with wooden clubs, and they give you the balls to use, and it's like a dialed back. It's like the old Cayman ball, where the instead of having
Yeah.
dimples, it has bumps,
Yeah.
and you can whack it as hard as you want. It will only go like 175 yards, but original routing and stuff. And then the lunch is unbelievable, and they've got their own whiskey and
Sold.
just cool locker room. So yeah, I'd say Kobe would be
Okay.
just for the experience would be great. Yeah.
Awesome.
All
All
right,
right.
it's
Well,
me.
you've got to be in turmoil now after I stole that off your plate.
I do like Japan. I'm gonna take you there. Me and you were gonna go to Japan.
Yeah.
But I've still got some bullets in my chamber because I am going to go. Man, I don't want to tell you the two I'm torn between. I mean, I think I got to go Canada.
Yeah.
2,564 courses in Canada.
Well, we're not
Stanley,
going off of the depth. You
what I
know,
know, Stanley
what do you
Thompson,
what do you go with? Like a Victoria Golf Club?
all that stuff.
You got some Colt stuff in Toronto. You
I
got
know,
some.
yeah. So I'm going to go St. George's.
Okay.
I'm going to go Banff,
Okay.
and I think I'm going to go to Highlands. Go to Highlands. I played Highlands for the first time 2 years ago. It's a hike to get there. It's at least I would say 2 hours maybe 2.5 hours from Cabot. You don't think it's going to be that far, but it is. We found it in good shape. I've read that, some years it's good, some years it's bad. When we were there, it was
Yeah,
fine. It's a bitch to walk. I mean, it is a tough hike. But some of the hikes are kind of pretty from green to the next tee. The greens are unbelievable. They run about 9, 8. They were soft. If they ran 13, they'd be unputtable. And it felt like one of those courses. Like, man, this is exactly what when he left 100 years ago. This is exactly what it looked like. And they have a
that's
cool
cool.
like lodge. You stay in this like state park lodge that's it's got this big building that like hangs over the water, and then all these little outbuildings, all of these red roofs, and it's like almost like staying in a, I guess it is staying in a state park. So yeah, I'm gonna go Canada. I'm gonna go Banff. I'm gonna go St. George's, and I'm gonna go Highlands.
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 Okay.
Yeah.
Why St. George's over some of the other options in Toronto?
Just a little change of pace. I got to have, I wanted to have, I think, 2 Stanley Thompsons in there, at least. The resorts are, I mean, Cabot's a long way to go up there, and the playing season's pretty darn short. My wife went in June and with some girlfriends, and it wasn't good. It was just, they didn't have grass growing. It was just real thin still on the greens. And, it's a resort. I mean, I get it. The model is very much the Bandon Dunes. You're comfortable. You can get a Miller Lite at the bar, and you can get French fries, and you can, they got caddies and all that stuff, yardage books. It's great. It's comfortable. But, if I'm going that far from Alabama, I kind of want to see the real thing. And to me, Canada,
Totally
Stanley
agree.
Thompson. So that's where I'm going.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. God,
So that's our top 10.
I've never played Victoria, but Victoria looks tough to beat out
Yep.
out
It's
out in
good.
BC.
Yeah.
So, all right, next up. I feel like you had to have been looking at Argentina. I don't think Wales maybe has the depth. I think Korea's a little bit of eye candy. Give me Argentina. Just because I'm looking closely at that these days for a potential future trip, and Jockey Club looks fantastic. That place, what is it? Potra Rio de Loretta.
Mm-hmm.
That place looks sick.
It
And
is.
then,
Great
you know,
hospitality there.
yeah. Tell me a third place.
Mar del Plata. I think Mar
Mar del
del
Plata.
Plata.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mar del
There we
Plata.
go. Those three.
Um,
That was yeah.
Mar
What
del
is
Plata, Henry
yeah.
Cotton course down. It's a good 3.5 hours down south of Buenos Aires. It's beach town. The locals would say we're crazy for not playing like Capilano. Those are all like tour courses. Like they're groomed, they're Jack Nicklaus, or they're trying to make them more like the U.S. instead of vice versa. Mar del Plata seems like the old school clubhouse. You know, great veranda to have a drink and they got sleeping rooms upstairs and
Yeah.
sleeper
That's the one
bunkers.
I'm
Yeah.
kind of basing, want to base a trip on that one. Would you
Yep.
what about San Andreas?
Um, so I have not seen their, so they just finished, or no, I'm sorry, I'm thinking Depacio. Um, San Andreas is, I have not played that one. So can't
Okay.
tell you. Yeah. We played, oh
And
no,
there's
I'm
this
sorry.
yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
That's
We
that's
played
pretty
San
close to
Andreas.
the city, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we played San Andreas, St. Andrews. They actually have their own stop on the train line. We did
Yeah.
play there. That thing is freaking hard. They got 5 par 5s and par 72. A lot of dog legs in thick Bermuda rough. I mean, real tough rough. It's very old school. I mean, the the woodworking on the floor, like the when you walk in the gravel parking lot, they've got their own big water tower still with the club logo on it, like right
Love
behind the
that.
clubhouse.
That's one of my favorite, like, little Easter eggs for a club. Love
Yeah.
that.
So it definitely feels like the showers look kind of gross from the amount of mold in the tile and stuff, which is fine. That kind of adds to it. But it is a tough golf course. I mean, it's
Okay.
just thick Bermuda grass. They also had fascinating. They had these massive like parrot hives. So parrots, I guess, like they build. It's almost like a beehive or a wasp hive. Like they. I
Okay.
don't know if they make them out of mud, and they're up in the trees, like the palm trees, and they go in and out of these holes. or, and they're all like up there, I guess for self defense, but there's like 500 of them up there in these trees, and there's almost every tree's got one, and they kind of squawk at each other and whatever. Real bright, like bright yellow, bright green parrots. They're
Uh,
beautiful. Look at little parrots, little guys that are about that big, and yeah, I'll always remember the parrots that, and I'll remember my host who was 70, maybe 70 years old. He was he was the Argentina representative to the RNA, and that dude shot par from the back, and that course was hard, and I think he hit all 5 par 5s in two too. Like he was a baller. You could just tell
hell
like
yeah.
this guy was a baller. All
Yeah.
right,
Okay.
that's
Yeah. Actually, speaking of the confidential guy, there's one course or there's one hole that Doak mentions. Is it Magallanes or way, way, way down, like in
yeah,
Patagonia?
yeah.
That's like this. He's like, it's like one of the best holes in the world. Uh,
Um, yeah, so I believe if we went there,
okay.
it's another
It's like
hour.
an old military base or Navy base or something like that,
Yeah,
or right, right
it's
near there.
yeah. I mean, it's even farther down than and there's a couple. There
Bartow
were a
Arena.
couple pretty good
Yeah.
a couple pretty good links courses that we kind of drove. It's one of those things where like we were on day 9 of the trip and we had to be back in Buenos Aires by the next morning for a
Yeah.
flight home. And you drive by one of these things, look out the window, you're like, whoa, like what's that one? Like I want to stop there. Um, and they were, it's just I don't want to say it's a poor part of the country. It's just uninhabited. Like there's just
Yeah.
nobody
That's what Neil
there.
was saying. Neil went on his honeymoon down to
Right.
that area, and he was
Yeah.
just like, yeah, and it's just like very, as far as like geologic time or as
Yeah.
far as just landscape, like it's a very new landscape. Like
Yeah.
that was what he said. There was not a whole lot of wildlife.
Yeah.
Like he's like it's just really sparse. Like there's
Yeah.
just there's just no living things
Yeah.
there. There's no old
Yeah.
tree.
No like farming. There's no. I guess there's like no
Yeah,
topsoil. It's just a pretty
yeah.
tough. Yeah. I think that's where they send like all the prisoners too, down way down to the
Okay.
bottom, kicking rocks.
Is that what you were gonna do?
Yeah.
Or okay.
That's what I was gonna
All
do.
right, good. I'm
Yeah.
glad I stole one from you.
Yeah. You blocked me there. All right. I'm gonna have to go to one that it's had over time. We were talking about the top 100, different countries that have had top 100 courses. This one has had a sneaky amount. They must have a pretty heavy tourism advertising budget, because they've had a bunch of different top 100 courses that have like mysteriously
Spain?
appeared. Spain, yeah. So I'm gonna go with
Yeah,
Spain. I don't think it's coincidence that like they'll have one in there, and then like as soon as they get a better course, the
yeah,
previous one falls off and a new one like takes its
yeah.
place. So
It's like an allotment that's,
yeah,
all right, we gotta make 2 for whoever's splashing cash around in Spain
yeah.
right now.
So El Salar would be one.
Okay.
That was the one that was always in there like 60s and 70s. If you remember on my bookshelf right over there, the old World Atlas of Golf. El Salar was in there, and then now obviously Valderrama. Um, I would take those two, and big Seve Ballesteros fan. So I'm gonna go to where Seve grew up playing as a kid, and where his I guess his uncle was the professional
Yeah,
when he was there. So I'm gonna go with those 3 courses for Spain. Spain's the one I need to get around a little bit more. I don't know a ton about Spain.
yeah.
I should. I got a friend who's on the
Great
European
food.
tour from Spain, so I got to go visit her and see the highlights of Spain. But yeah, so I
Okay.
don't know like where the part where like Jose Maria's from. I don't know much about golf courses in that area. But
All right, Wolfie, let's see here. What's still on the board? We've got Wales, we've got Sweden, we've got Iceland, we've got
got the
Portugal.
Dominican Republic, South Africa, Belgium,
Yeah,
Colombia, South Korea, the Philippines, Sweden,
yeah. You know
Mexico.
what? You know what? Give me Sweden. I'm gonna
Okay,
give me Visby first and foremost. That place freaking rules. Uh, give me Olna. Played there this past summer on a return trip to Sweden and just loved it. It's a Nicholas design, but Sven Tumba kind of it feels like the epitome of Swedish summer culture and delightful place to have a beer out on the
okay,
porch. Great hospitality, great second shot golf course.
yep,
Uh, and then for the third one, I would say I would say Falsterbo or Barsebek, but I'm gonna go with Stockholm Golf Club, Chevingham. I think betting on the future there too. They've Christian London's doing a great job there, and feels like shades of San Francisco Golf Club or Claremont or
Whew,
something out in the
that's
Bay Area. Really, really
that's high
interesting
praise.
piece of land and great trees and just really cool old school stuff. So yeah, love that
Okay.
place.
Um, I I watched I watched tourist sauce there, but give us you've spent more time than just tourist sauce there. Obviously, give us what are the local customs? Is it no caddies? I assume it looked like
Yeah, it's
full
uh,
carts.
uh, yeah, I would say it's walking, walking, walking. I mean, it
Yeah,
is heavy
all comp.
walking. It is
Do they play comps or just
yeah,
friendlies
yeah,
or
it's pretty similar to Australia in that regard,
okay?
where, they play comp and then they go have beers and lunch at the club afterwards.
Everybody keeps score, turn their cards in for their handicap, or is
Everybody
that
keeps
voluntary?
score. Oh, big time.
Big time. So it's
Yeah, yeah,
enforced.
big time as far as that goes. Yeah, I mean, they'll print your comp card out there when you turn in your
Okay.
greens fees at
Do
the
they have
front.
pennant?
They have
Do they do pennants where
I
like you
think
play,
they do. I
play
think
another
that's
club to
still
beat me?
kind of yeah, I think that's still, pretty nascent or more regional, right? I think there's some around Stockholm, there's some down in the South. I think part of it is a lot of the clubs are, kinda summer club or, obviously everybody plays in the summer there because it's cold, but, you've got people's kind of vacation club, then you've got their club near their home as well, because a lot of people have lake cabins or cottages by the sea. So, it's very, very inexpensive. I mean, I think the yearly dues are paltry. It would be like a couple of greens fees here at moderately priced courses. Um, and yeah, just very, and they're in really good shape, like shockingly good shape. And
Mhm.
it's just kinda everything you need, nothing you don't. They've got great little, kind of big lunch culture there after you've played.
Nice.
Not a big, country club or dinner culture.
Yeah.
It's a golf club. So
Do you buy like your clubs and your equipment at the course or at a retailer?
no, it would be more of a retailer
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, yeah.
That
Swedes
seems
are
to be dying out almost
pretty
everywhere. Like,
frugal. Yeah.
yeah, almost everywhere now it seems like they're I
Well, and I
mean,
think Swedes kind of treat it like, they're sportsmen at heart, I think, and, or sports people at heart, and so it's similar to how you would treat, ski equipment or, tennis equipment or something like
yeah,
that. Like you would go to an offsite pro shop
sure.
essentially. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, Sweden's got 650 golf courses.
Yeah, I think
That's
per capita, that's up there, right?
I think
That's
it's like
that's
number
tops.
3. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
number 2 or number 3. Yeah, it's ninth on the list of just total golf courses.
yeah,
So it's the equivalent of it's above China. Ahead of Spain. It's ahead of South Africa. It's ahead of New Zealand,
yeah.
Netherlands. It's
They
yeah
play a
in
lot. They squeeze a lot out of a short season,
yeah
and it's I would say the one reason to maybe do Falsterbo would be longer season down there, surrounded by water, and you kinda play year round, but you can kinda do the same at Visby.
yeah
They get that marine effect. Funny story, I was in Scotland this summer at Prestwick, and they were talking about how there's a bunch of, few Swedish members at Prestwick, and they were bringing all their buddies down, and they were just abusing the hell out of the guest policy. So they had to put a limit on how many
yeah
how many times guests could play, per trip or
yeah
per week and everything. The
yeah.
Swedes are very letter of the law, if you
Yeah.
will.
Says we can do this.
So,
We're good. Yeah. What about the fallout from? I've always wondered. Sweden's probably the most quantifiable, like pre tourist sauce, post tourist sauce. What was the bump? Do they know? Like, are you are people not happy with Mr. Carter and Co because you've clogged their t sheets, or is it
no,
kind
I
of
mean, I don't think
are they
anybody's going to
proud of it?
Sweden for
Is
a
play
golf trip.
doubled
I know there
anywhere?
have
Or
been
yeah,
I know at Stockholm Golf Club, they at, Chevingham, they've definitely had more visitor play, which is a good thing. That helps support the club and they're very hospitable towards it. Um, yeah, but, I think to a certain extent, it's probably encouraged more travel within Sweden
Yeah.
of, some of our listeners. Hey, cool. I need to go check out this place. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna take out. I'm gonna take out Olna, and I'm gonna put in Kristianstad because I think that's probably the. I haven't played it yet, but by all accounts, that's probably the second best golf course in the country at this point. Like, I
Okay.
think the guy that part family owns H&M. He's put a bunch of money into it, and everybody,
Okay.
Solly and Ben and Cody played it on Tour Sauce, and they said it was just to die for.
All
So,
right. So in the interest of speed, TC, while
yeah,
I'm thinking about my next one, I think you picked seven, I picked six. So while I'm thinking of my seventh pick to finish this out, from here on out, we're going to go one course per country. So you've only got to name one for
okay,
each country that you're interested in playing, and we'll just go a little bit more rapid fire.
one, but we're still going with three deep.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
only have to name one. Okay, all
yeah. But
right,
you've only got to
I
name,
got you.
yeah.
Okay,
So I'll finish with I'll finish with Mexico, I guess. On mine, because you get the courses in Cabo, you get the courses in downtown Mexico.
I didn't even think about
I've only
Cabo.
played
Yeah,
I think two or three courses in Mexico. I used to go down there a lot for work, but I would go south of Mexico City, and it was just so dense that there wasn't room um, for golf, particularly in arable land. So I'm gonna go Mexico with a pretty heavy focus on of kind of the Cabo area, and with the huge, I told you so that I realized that a lot of the courses that you've seen really high ratings for on the Confidential Guide or whatever, buyer beware. In some cases, they are not the same courses that they
yeah.
used to be.
Okay. I am gonna go. How many deep are we going?
I think three more each. Let's get top 20. So three more
Okay,
each.
top 20. All right. I am gonna go. God, it's bet on upside with Portugal. I'm gonna go with South Africa.
I was going to go with South Africa.
Yeah, I got some friends down in South Africa. Guy named Mick Craven. He's a winemaker. He's always trying to get me to come down there and play. He's like, there's the big ones obviously, but there's some places in that Stellenbosch area that just look like kind of great local neighborhood courses that are spectacular as well. So
I'm going to take Germany.
wow, okay, didn't see that one
Great.
coming.
Yeah. Germany's sneaky. They got over 1,000 courses, 1,054 courses. Um, they're one of the
They got some
countries you got.
sandy stuff up north too,
They
right?
do, yeah, along the
Yeah.
North Sea. A lot of people vacation up there. A lot of so that's where I would go for work. I went 4, 5, 6 times a year to Osnabrück, so I would fly into Amsterdam and take the A1 E30 over to Osnabrück, and then Hamburg. You could go in anyway. So Falkenstein is the course that I kind of have my eye on when I think of Germany. Hamburg or Falkenstein, which is just it's a cult course just outside of Hamburg. It's it's like a bump, and you play around the bump and up and down the bump. It's like the high point of the golf course is in the middle of it. It's pretty rare that you see where it's everything is kind of around. They didn't put the clubhouse on the top; it's on the bottom, and you go around. It's not super severe, but um,
Okay.
yeah, Falkenstein is. I'm going to go with that one, but yeah, and I think again you're betting on the future there because they're playing golf
Yeah.
left and right.
Okay.
All right,
I'm gonna go with one we haven't mentioned yet. I'm gonna go to Vietnam. Betting on the
Vietnam.
future again there, and it
Have
just
you
seems
been to
like there's
Vietnam?
there's I haven't. It's like very high on my list. I
Gorgeous.
love
Gorgeous.
Vietnamese food, just
Yep.
Vietnamese people, all of it. I think
Laos,
it's just
beautiful.
wonderful.
Just
Yeah,
beautiful. Great food,
yeah, and
nice
it looks like
people.
there's some cool courses that have been built there, cool courses being built there, uh, all of that. So
Yeah, I haven't heard much. Oh no, that's Thailand, I think, where the uh, the Gil Hanse version of the Lido was
I
being
thought that
built.
was what was that? Bali Shear, I
Yeah,
think?
was it Thailand? I think
Yeah,
that was
no,
Thailand.
you're right. Yeah, it is Thailand.
Kind of on the
Yeah,
bottom of the hook of Thailand, down on the yeah.
yeah,
Never mind.
Bon Rakat. Yeah, it
Okay,
looks
if
like
you're going
there's
to go there, I'm going to go Portugal. I've never played golf in Portugal, so I'm going to go to Portugal. Never been to Portugal. We go
nor
Portugal.
have I, Wolfie.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm balancing out my, the English and Irish food, Northern Irish food with, I've got Japan,
Okay,
Argentina,
last one. Yeah, last one.
Vietnam. I got some great cuisine in there. I'm gonna go with Wales.
Okay.
Feel like that's yeah. Thought about Denmark. Thought about Iceland as well. Thought about Brazil,
My
but
my lovely
yeah,
and talented wife just went to Iceland on a golf trip with all of her girlfriends and didn't invite me. Can you believe that? I mean, the nerve of some
never
people.
been,
They just
never been. You've
gallivant
never been
around.
either, right?
No, it looked pretty good. I was kind of
Yeah.
surprised. So they did like 6 days, 3 golf courses, and then they hiked up to the Blue Lagoon, and then they went to a volcano, whatever. But all of it was close enough. Like they slept in the same bed every night. It
Okay.
was all.
In,
When they got back, I was like,
in
"What's it like in the
Reykjavik
north?"
or
What's that?
in Reykjavik
Yeah,
or
yeah.
outside?
I
Okay.
think that's about it. Yeah, Reykjavik.
Okay.
So she brought me back some yardage books and some photos. It looked, pretty good. Pretty good.
South Korea is still on the board, huh?
Yeah, I'm not. That's no. That's
Yeah.
maybe a culture just a little bit too far for me. Like as far as everything,
Yeah,
just
it's not really about the golf,
the
right?
food. Yeah,
It's yeah.
yeah.
I love Korean cuisine. I can't get enough of it.
Not my
Uh,
not my favorite. Not compared to Japanese. I like Japanese. I like Chinese. Um,
okay.
all right. So my last one then is going to be. I think I'm going to go with Morocco because it is that is the one I want to go to next. So I'm going to go with Morocco
Okay.
next. Yeah, I've had a book on my shelf for about 10 years. Only person I know that's played there is Michael Clayton when he was on the European tour, and it just looks like pretty good times, something different. So I'm gonna go Morocco. The views there look just spectacular at the beach, so I'm gonna go there.
Love it. All
Where
right.
are you not going to play golf, Tron? What's dead last on
Uh,
your list?
I'm not a big desert golf guy. Like I've played in Abu Dhabi. I don't think I need to go to Dubai to go play golf. I, Egypt,
If they were doing it like they did, you know, 75 years ago when they like used a red ball and it was all just sand everywhere,
oil or the tar sands, and yeah,
yeah, like
yeah,
that would be interesting to try once. When you try to make it like too, and I realize there's a balancing act there, but like, because maybe you and I aren't the typical travelers, but when you like cater it too much to tourists, then it's like, well, why would I want to go there if it's the exact same thing as it would be, at the Robert Trent Jones Trail,
yeah.
17 minutes from my house?
How about you? Where are you not going?
I'd have to learn more about it. It seems like there's a lot of building going on, like in Croatia and places. I've heard like
Uh,
of 9 different places that are like the next, they're like the Pebble Beach of Central Europe.
Croatia's great. I just
Yeah,
don't know if I need to go play golf there.
right.
You know?
Yeah, I'd probably go sightseeing there, but I don't know that I need
Yeah.
to drag my clubs all the way there. I just don't know enough about it. I guess it's not. It's not. I'm anti. It's just I don't have the. You know.
I was gonna say one other one that I haven't been to. You don't like heat, so it's probably not on your list. Brazil. Any desire to ever go there? It looks like there's some interesting stuff. Not a lot of depth, but some interesting stuff. Obviously, the Gilhance Olympic course, but I think there's a couple other ones that are of note. Very
There
kind of
is.
wild rainforest shit, right?
Yeah, this thing came in. We'll post this online. This came in as part of a just like a bulk buy of a guy's library collection, and there's a golf course called Caveia Golf and Country Club in Brazil, and it's got this.
That's the one I was thinking of. Yes.
You play like underneath a mountain that looks like from
Yes.
Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Only it's right on the
Yeah.
beach. I don't know if you could. We'll put it up for people to see, but like it's got to be a several thousand feet like sheer cliff, and then there's just enough room between the face of this mountain and the beach for what looks like a pretty darn good golf course.
Yeah.
Caveia
That's
Golf and Country Club, and it's old school. I mean, this thing's 1926. It looks like so. Yeah, put me down for there. I'd go check that
yeah.
out. I don't do so well in the heat.
Uh, well, you know what, Wolfie? With that, I think we'll bid everyone adieu. We'll see
Yep.
everyone next time, and Thanks for joining us for Office Hours. Wolfie, thanks as always for your intellect, your wisdom, your encyclopedic knowledge.
We got a lot of good stuff coming up here in the off season. We got Sully and Neil and DJ out procreating left and right, and we're going to try to fill some of your time with what we think is some pretty interesting stuff. We got another big edition of logo stuff coming up. That's always heated. So yeah, stay tuned for more Office Hours. We'll be busy next couple months.